I'm reading chapter by chapter my second book, BUMWIPER. It's not released yet. It will be released soon, but I thought I would just get it out there, see what people think. I'm telling the story of my work with people with disabilities, work that would eventually lead to a diagnosis of complex PTSD and a change of career. The book is called BUMWIPER. As I said, it's not available for sale at the moment. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. This is chapter 2. Let's dive right in and see what happens. Welcome to Mark My Words. Mark My Words is the story of my journey from a place where I was shattered to where I could live again. BUMWIPER, chapter 2. Just another day. It's Sunday, 6 a.m. And once again, while just about every other sane person in the world is tucked comfortably into their cozy beds, my hands are covered in shit. And by shit, I do mean excrement. Brown, mushy, and unbelievably smelly. Worst of all, it's the poo of another human. I'm also pretty sure I have some on my shoes too. But as my arms are overloaded with precariously balanced, heavily soiled pile of linen, it's impossible for me to look. Even if I could look at that moment, I'm not sure I'd want to. Some things are better left as a mystery, for a little while. The gloves, which I painstakingly put on before diving into the mess, are ripped and torn. A direct result of the client that I was trying to clean up becoming upset and grabbing at them with his fingernails. Whatever protection they may have given was reduced to less than useless in the following melee in which I found myself. He was quickly calmed, but the gloves were shredded on my hands before he was done. It doesn't help that the house manager bought 60 boxes of size small gloves that barely fit even the smallest of the staff that work here. But at this moment, I must hasten to the laundry. I have to take a little bit of time here, making sure the dirty sheets and bedclothes are rinsed thoroughly before being put in the washing machine. And then I have to go back upstairs to clean off the man who has made this particular mess. A 30-year-old man with an intellectual disability who is currently standing happily under a steaming hot shower. Years of doing this job have made me immune to caring about the fact that he himself does not care that he crapped the bed. Why should he? He doesn't have to clean up the bed or himself. The only penance that he must pay is that he doesn't get to sleep in. Also, if the poo has been allowed to sit for long enough so that it's hardened and become crusty, we, meaning me, will have to work pretty hard to get it all off. That will probably mean washing his hair and having to scrape the crap out of his pubes and leg hairs. This is also why I've left him in the shower for such a long time. The hot running water just might break down a lot of the poo, making it easier to get it off him. All things considered, for him, this morning is not at all a bad deal. For me, I just want to get it over with so I can get back to my breakfast. In reality, I truly have one major real concern about how things are going this morning. It's not even the smell or the fact that I have another person's crap pretty much now all over my clothes. What concerns me most out of the entire mess this morning is that cleaning this guy has interrupted my perfectly prepared breakfast of bacon and eggs. I didn't even break the yolks today. The toast was just the right shade of brown, and I brought some fresh full cream milk to wash it all down with. The perfect breakfast. Now, however, the toast is going to dry out, the yolks harden, and make the food all that much less enjoyable. What I should be upset about, if I allowed myself to think about it, is that I needn't have been stuck with this job. The guy that worked the night before me, the night duty staff, who would have known perfectly well that the client had crapped the bed, let him lie in it and then took off before I got upstairs and found the damage. When I first found the mess, almost 10 minutes ago, part of me enjoyed, just for a second, the idea of the look on the night duty staff member's face if I left the mess for that guy to clean up when he came back that night, a full 18 hours later. The delicious thought was with me for no more than a split second. I, in all good conscience, cannot leave a person lying in that sort of mess, even if the person themselves does not care. Nor could I leave the soiled bed linen lying stinking up the house for a full day. That, of course, would be unacceptable. So I clean it up. So here I am scraping the last of the poo off the sheets and pajamas, giving them a hot rinse. There is no way this mess will need to be rewashed, and plopping it all in the washing machine. I head back to the stairs to get on with the rest of the cleaning. To get to the stairs, I must pass the permanently sealed door of a woman who isn't allowed in the main part of the house. She's a 50 to 60-year-old woman with a slight intellectual disability who also has a mental illness. She is what we call in the industry a dual diagnosis client. I've been walking quietly so as not to wake her, not for any consideration for her comfort or respect for the fact that it's only 6:15 in the morning. It's just that when she wakes up and hears me, she's going to start screaming all manner of abuse at me. This early in the morning, it will only be threats to kill me and general insults, like, "You're a fat prick, aren't you?" But I'm happy to let that little experience wait until a bit later in the morning, when I'm more awake and ready to deal with it. I dodge a bullet passing her door. She's still asleep, and I get to the stairs. I turn the corner and duck instinctively as something large and heavy flies past my head. In this job, you either learn to have quick reflexes or you spend a lot of time on compo. The house I'm working in is technically the client's home or residence. They live in a group home run by the state government. It is a house simply known in our department by its suburb. It's the Hurstville House. No real names have been used in the writing of this book. The Hurstville House is well known in the department and in the community as a very dangerous house. Recently, I've been brought in with 5 others to restaff the house as the turnover due to staff injury and burnout has been unacceptable, to the point that they can't find staff to operate the house effectively. I and my 5 colleagues are all veterans of the disability industry, each with at least 10 years' experience and extensive experience working with violent clients. All the clients living there are fairly high functioning, meaning they can do a lot for themselves, but all need support to live in the community. The house is old, maybe 50 years old, and it is quite large. It's 2 stories and built in the days before building codes. It's a hodgepodge of designs and building techniques. The lawn is unkempt and the house, in a word, dilapidated. The main feature that concerns me at this moment, though, was the staircase that we all must use to enter the house. It is narrow and steep. Falls are common, and due to a design flaw, it is nearly impossible to see the people at the top of the stairs. It is up those stairs I must now ascend to continue working with the client in the shower. I'm barely on the first step when a 2-litre bottle of milk smashes into the wall beside my head. Now I'm covered in milk. All I can think as the splashes of milk run down my face is that I'm going to have to defrost another bottle of milk. My idiot boss insists that we buy 15 bottles of milk at one time and then freeze it for some unknown reason. It's just more unnecessary work. I must be careful going back up the stairs because I don't know what else is going to come flying down. Could be food, could be a chair, could be the microwave for all I know. A few weeks later, it is indeed the microwave that comes flying down. I'm lucky today, after a few plastic plates and cups, the hard crockery is long gone by now, broken in past tantrums. The barrage stops. I take a risk and head quickly up the stairs. Thankfully, the client, a young man with Down syndrome and some autism, is looking for other things to throw and is startled when he sees me arrive in the kitchen. Up till now, he hasn't realized that he's been throwing stuff at me, per se. What happened is that he's woken up, heard my movements downstairs, and decided to begin a preemptive assault. Usually, we have to wake him for his daily routines. He hates this and will attack if he feels so inclined. Sometimes, though, he does it for no other discernible reason than he just felt like throwing stuff at someone. Now that he sees me, though, the wind goes out of his sails. He and I get on quite well. I know him, and he knows that I can anticipate his needs. I've worked long and hard to establish some working boundaries and to establish a functional routine that he is comfortable with. As I approach, he throws a punch in at my head. They usually miss, but this one misses by a long way. I mean, his heart really wasn't in it. And I direct him back to bed. It's Sunday and he doesn't know that he doesn't have to get up till later. Just the fact that I let him go back to bed communicates this fact to him. He calms instantly, turns on the seekers on his stereo, and gives me a huge smile as I tuck him into bed, and he cozies up in the covers. I smile at that beatific face, but I'm not taken in by it, not in the least. I've been the recipient of too many bruises that he's given me after showing me that smile. As I walk out of his room, I have a choice. Do I clean the stairs or my poo-covered friend in the shower? It's no choice, really. So I put a wet sign floor at the bottom of the stairs to warn the girl who'll soon be arriving for her shift to look out for the spilt milk. Secretly, I hope she'll be conscientious and clean it up instead of just walking carefully up the stairs. I'm not sure who is coming on, so I can't be sure if she'll clean it up. Some of my colleagues will, and others will not. Also, to sway my decision is the fact that I've heard a few swear words from the now awake client downstairs. The sound of large things smashing into the walls will tend to disturb sleep. So after deciding that to clean the stairs will put me closer to the abuse, I head towards the shower. Also to be considered is that the stairs can be cleaned anytime. But in the shower, I have a human covered in crap, and he always comes first. That's the way it is with this work. People first. It is a universally understood truth that kneeling on the shower floor, soaking wet, and trying to comb dried feces out of a grown man's leg hairs is not the appropriate time for introspection and self-evaluation. And I fully subscribe to that truth. I shut my mind off to what I am doing and concentrate on getting the job done. If I had been one for introspection and self-evaluation, here is what I would see. I'm a short, overweight, 34-year-old man, married for 8 years with a new baby. I have no savings, no house, minimal money in the bank, and barely any qualifications. I've worked tirelessly in this industry for 16 years, and the only thanks that I have received is the constant attempts of those that I serve trying to injure or kill me. Now for a reality check. This was originally the end of chapter 1, or so I thought. It's true of any book that there are plenty of rewrites. However, today when I read this chapter, the one in which I portray myself as a rather smooth, unruffled Han Solo type, the archetypal, completely unaffected champion of the disabled, I nearly want to choke. The situation is real. The abuse is real. My reactions to the abuse are real. What you don't know is that there is a fourth character in the house. Besides Pooh Man, Abuse Girl, and Back to Bed Boy, there is another client. He sleeps in the room between Pooh Man and Back to Bed Boy. He is, I know now, more dangerous than all the others combined. In my mind, he is now a malevolent force, a silent presence in the story that overwhelms the entire tableau that I tried to build. I am no longer unaffected. I am no longer suave. I no longer work with disabled people. I can't even be in the same room as a disabled person without my hands sweating, my skin crawling, and my heart beating out of my chest. I was changed by that man sleeping quietly in that room, a character I ignored when I first wrote this chapter, as he did not sufficiently add to the drama of the moment, but who now haunts my nightmares. In short, he tried to kill me. He took a butcher knife and tried to kill me in cold blood. What he did to me changed my life and put this book on hold for many years. When I first wrote this book, I thought I could tell an interesting story about a world that most people know nothing about. My intention was to display myself in a very cool, unaffected light. One part idealist, one part hero, and all the while the modest epitome of sensitive maleness. That was not so much a deceit as it was ignorance. All of these experiences and those in later chapters were affecting me in ways that I could not imagine. The attacks, the abuse, the mismanagement from my bosses all played a part in nearly destroying my life. I've rewritten this book as I can only tell my story from the perspective that I have today. It has shed a different light on my story. It has given it a different focus, but it is my focus. It is how I see things now. Every experience I had in 18 years of working with people with disabilities is now coloured by the sight of a knife blade glinting in the light and coming at my head. And so ends chapter 2 of my book, BUMWIPER. It has not been released yet. It will be released at some stage. Tune in next week for chapter 3. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you. Have a great week. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for listening to Mark My Words. I'd like to thank my producer, Meredith Brosnan, and also Torian, Kevin, and Lorraine. And I can't forget the band Adelaide, who allows us to use their song as our theme.